All right, I think we're live. Welcome to MARIMAR'S Spanish Table.
Yes, and our March 5th episode.
Okay, I think now it's official. Welcome to MARIMAR'S Spanish Table.
And it's March 5th. Imagine that. We're going to change the time.
Oh, boy.
Summer is almost here, right?
Almost. Early spring. I think we got to welcome spring first, technically.
Fine.
But, you know, who cares? Okay, so today we've got a very Catalan dish for you. Yeah. We'll be making cabbage dumplings stuffed with pork, chorizo, pine nuts, and raisins. And you can find the recipe and the wine pairing in the content of the post. So, all right, you want to tell us a little bit about this dish, Mom?
Yes. I want to say that cabbage is a very, very common vegetable to eat in Catalonia. And at home, I remember in the old days that a standard was for dinner, because of course in Spain the main meal is lunch, right? And
why is that an of course?
Because it isn't.
But people don't know that necessarily.
Okay. God, that's a conversation starter.
So as opposed to the US, where lunch is definitely, like, for many of us who work, it is kind of like an afterthought, and dinner is the main meal of the day. But in Spain, it's lunch, right?
Because lunch is usually eaten at 3 o'clock, and dinner is eaten at 10 o'clock, at least at our home, and especially in southern Spain. So when we do here a meal that reminds me of the Spanish way, at 3 o'clock, guess what? I call it lunner, right? As in lunch and dinner. And I think it's a perfect opportunity. Then you don't have to get up early to come to our events, and you don't have to rush, and you can arrive at 2 o'clock and after a nice breakfast. And anyway, so back to dinner in Spain at 10 o'clock. It was always a very light dinner, unless we had guests. And it was a soup, maybe the little Catalan pasta and such, because of course that's another story. But we eat a lot of pasta in Catalonia because Catalonia and the northwest of Italy were part of the same country for 400 years. That's another story. But anyway, the dinner we had was, after the soup, we had a veggie with boiled potatoes and some olive oil, wonderful olive oil on top. And the veggie was very commonly cabbage, right? And, it's definitely not a wealthy person's veggie, but I always liked it very much. And then we would have that with a little fish, a wonderful fresh fish, of course, but not very expensive, and then fruit for dessert. Very healthy. Anyway,
well, shall we get started and dive in on the first steps?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So first of all, we're going to have some of these breadcrumbs, which are homemade breadcrumbs, which essentially just grind in Cuisinart, right? And then you put some milk in it, and you let it rest for a little bit, because you want it to really absorb the milk. And so that's going to take about 5 minutes or 10 minutes or as long as you want it. It's not going to get bad. Okay, so we'll leave this here for a while, and then.
And also, do let us know that you've tuned in and where you're tuning in from, what you're drinking this evening, or what you're planning on cooking this weekend. We're so glad to have you. I'm betting Sam and Coralie and David are watching. So I hope so. You make our day every time.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Okay,
so now it's been 10-15 minutes, and that's where the breadcrumbs soaked in milk look like, right? And then what we're going to do, you put them in a large bowl, actually, not that little one. And then we will put here what we're going to cook. And we're going to cook we're going to cook the onion. We're going to have some onion here that's ground, right? And so we're going to put a little bit of olive oil here.
And the name of this recipe in Catalan is Farcellets de Col.
That's right.
And so Farcellets means little bundles in Catalan.
It's in a little bundle of joy.
Yeah,
So,
which also is like a dumpling.
Yeah.
So that's thus cabbage dumplings.
Yeah, right. And then so now I'm here with my onion. I'm sauteing the onion, which of course is going to be momentaneous. I mean, let's imagine that this onion, blah 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 blah. It's already done, right?
Okay.
So once the onion is soft, we're going to add 3 kinds of meat.
Yeah, 3
But-
kinds of pork.
Of pork, yes, and they're going to be the pork, the ground pork. It's going to be pancetta. And Christina said, "Well, Mom, why did you use bacon?" Well, I like pancetta. Of course,
You can do bacon, pancetta. You can
Yeah.
simplify as you wish.
And
But
then,
the recipe is relatively straightforward.
Yeah,
Then again, good luck ever asking Marimar if a recipe is simple or not, because Mom thinks complicated things are very simple. So you'll never quite get like the layman's version of simple in Marimar's world.
So the third meat here is chorizo, okay, a good Spanish chorizo, okay. So we're gonna, now that the onion is soft and ready, we're gonna put the chorizo here, and we're gonna put all the meats.
Oh, right. And this is my fault. I didn't pass you your glass of Pinot.
I was wondering.
Yeah, you're working so hard, and I didn't
Right,
even give you your
right.
Pinot.
Yeah, but wait, while this cooks, I'll tell you that we serve this as a tapa at the winery for our tapas and wine pairing, and we have people that don't eat meat. I mean, many people don't eat meat, right? And so I thought, what if we actually the idea was yours
Yeah.
because
Because we
Christina-
get vegetarians who come for tapas,
yeah,
and
but also,
so we wanted to offer a vegetarian option.
But the idea was because you have discovered the plant.
Yeah, so I
sausages.
eat mostly, or at least I try to maximize my plant-based foods.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we have like a barbecue or something, I've got friends over, I do the like plant-based sausages, which are actually really very good, I have to say, at least the ones I've had. And so the one that I really like that we use in the vegetarian version of this is the Field Roast brand chicken apple sage sausage. Which is super flavorful.
Mhm.
And yeah, what else do you need to do to make it a vegetarian
So, because that is
adaptation?
not in the book, so you
Yeah.
have to remember this. And that was just my my thinking about it. I thought that we could replace it with with a plant-based sausage and then herbs. I mean, anything you have in your garden. I put in about half a teaspoon, but go by your taste, of sage each. Sage, rosemary, oregano, and thyme, and then the mushrooms and almonds. I mean, what could not be good about that, right? So you ground the almonds and you saute the mushrooms, and first you toast the almonds and then you grab them and then you taste it. Well, put salt and pepper to taste, and that's it, kid, right?
And
But
there we go.
Okay, so shall we talk about the wine or shall we?
Whatever you want.
Let's
But
go.
I do have to say, guess who is tuned in? Sam Y and Corley have tuned in, as well as David Clardy from Fargo, North Dakota, of course,
Yes.
and Sam and Corley from Minnesota. And you remember when they all came and had our lovely tapas at the winery,
Mhm.
and
They had these, that's right.
yeah.
They had the cabbages.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
because we do serve this as one of our tapas.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to dance around here and find the lighting, but it's a funny time of year where we're a little dark and then we're a little overexposed. But oh well, it's a homemade video. You guys know that. All
Okay,
right.
so now while that is cooking, we taste the wine, right? Or we can pretend that it's already cooked because it is cooked.
Yes.
Guess what? After
Oh boy, imagine that.
15
Ooh,
minutes
can I
or
have
so.
a bite? I'm really hungry.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
but it's cold. It should be. Don't tell anybody.
Yum. Yum, yum.
Let's say that it's
This is the mix of like onion and pork. Clearly, I'm not strict about my plant-based diet.
No. Definitely.
I love food too much.
So
I
then we put all this sausage. Oh, first, one very important thing to do is you once it's cooked, of course, the chorizo and all the pork stuff releases a lot of fat, and so here's how much fat can come out. I mean,
Mom finds that really satisfying, removing the fat from recipes or from like a sauce. Mom's like, look at all the fat I took out.
Yeah, and it's tastier.
Yeah.
And also makes you less fat. And you digest it better more than anything. Yeah.
Mom goes to great lengths to remove fat, make things less greasy.
Yes, ma'am.
And just as tasty.
So then in the bowl where I had the breadcrumbs with milk, we put all this here and we mix it. So maybe while we mix it, we can talk about the
Okay. All right, so our wine pairing for today is the Mascavals. This is the 2018, and this is our classic Sonoma Coast Pinot Noir. So as some of you know, we have 2 vineyards. All our wines come from our own vineyards. And this is the Pinot Noir from our Sonoma Coast vineyard, named after my grandmother, Doña Margarita. And this is a wine, really, it's even cooler. The Sonoma Coast vineyard is even closer to the ocean. It's, so the Pinot takes even longer to ripen. And so you retain higher acidity and you get less ripe fruit flavors than here in the Russian River Valley.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Mascavals, you get more of that kind of earthy, mushroomy, darker notes, I'd say, than in the Russian River. Here, our classic La Masia Pinot is more bright, fresh fruit, more like almost juicy, not overripe and not like jammy, but makes for quite a contrast. And this wine,
and let me say something before I forget. One interesting thing that we found when I bought the property there and planted 20 acres of Pinot Noir was that I thought, well, that would be great because then that will ripen much later, and then we will have, the tanks will turn easier. Well, as it turns out, not that much because the days are cooler, but the nights are the same, which actually is good because you have less frost. So it really is ideal. And the only thing is that sometimes we have some Pinot Noir ripening there when not every Pinot Noir is ripening here. But, it works out. We make it work out.
Yeah, we figure it out.
Yeah.
We like to keep our team on their toes and not make it too easy for them.
Did you taste it yet?
Yeah, it's really good.
Let me see.
And the name Mascavals means horse ranch in Catalan. And that's because that's where I grew up riding horses. Okay, what do we do next?
By the way, mas in Castilian Spanish means more. So I heard somebody in the tasting room once say, this means more horses. No, this means horse farm or horse ranch, right? Okay, so now that we have all this here, we're going to add an egg, right?
Oh, is it an egg from our chickens?
Woo, look at that.
Oh, it's a double.
A double thing.
Oh my gosh, a double yolk.
Can you see double egg, double...
Look at the double yolk.
Double,
Look at that. Ta-da. Okay, I think you can see it.
Yeah. And then the
That's
raisins.
fresh home eggs.
Yep, yeah.
And this is typical Catalan. We just added the raisins because it's that typical combination of sweet and savory that is very traditional with Catalan cuisine. And so here you've got obviously the savory, the meat, and then the sweet with raisins, and even arguably pine nuts add some sweetness.
So we're mixing all that up.
It's so satisfying. I love that sweet and savory combination.
It really is,
So satisfying.
I'm going to be my assistant and mix all this.
Oh boy, I do not usually help out in the kitchen except for like, I can do dishes and like, I don't know.
So anyway, and meanwhile, we're going to make
I can pour wine.
That's good.
To be drunk while cooking.
Okay, so remember that. You said you were pouring wine.
I know, I neglected my duties at the beginning, sorry.
And so, okay, so we're going to prepare the tomato sauce because that goes very well with tomato sauce. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a lovely, large, heavy pan, and we're going to put minced onion.
How thoroughly mixed does it need to be?
Cuisinart mixed.
Wow, okay. I will keep working at it.
Yeah. Oh, yours. I'm sorry. I thought you meant this. No, that's perfect. Yeah, don't worry.
Okay, I will stop.
And then you put here cup of wine. I think so, right? What do we do? Let's see. Prepare the sauce. The heat oil in the last. Oh, okay. I forgot to put the oil, but of course, you heat oil, right? And then saute the onions first until they're very soft. Then you add the tomatoes, and you cook over. That's perfect. the wine goes afterwards. So you cook this.
Chico wants to say hello. Chico, come here. Come here. While Mom's getting
All right.
ready.
All right.
Come here. Chico says hello. He says, ooh, that sausage looks very tasty. Look at him.
Yeah.
But he already had his dinner, didn't you? Well, he loves making an appearance. He's just waiting nearby, like sitting very quietly and waiting for something to drop on the floor.
He made his.
Okay.
Somebody gave me once, if you like dogs, a book that. The
Oh
title
yeah,
was,
that's very good.
With a dog in the cover going like that, and the title was "What Did I Lick Before Your Face?" Ah! Right? Okay, so here's the onion. The onion has cooked for 5 minutes, and then you add the tomato, right, which has been again minced and in the food processor, and then you cook that for quite a while, right?
Okay.
Until it is soft, right? And then you add, after a few minutes, you add the wine. You add a glass of wine, a cup of wine.
And Mom does always say, don't use wine that you wouldn't drink yourself, or really any ingredient that you wouldn't enjoy on its own. But here's the thing, if you have wine that you maybe didn't finish the bottle and it got left in the fridge, you can use that. It's totally fine if it's been open for too long and has gotten oxidized.
Mm-hmm.
But better to do that than, in our opinion, than using a wine that you wouldn't enjoy on its own when you're cooking with wine.
That's right. Well, I remember how upset you got when I was making a soup of a melon and port wine, and I had some wonderful port, $100 a bottle of port.
More expensive than that.
Or more, and I used it, and everybody thought the soup was fantastic. Well, then, of course you use your best port, right? But Christina thought that we should have saved it for just sipping after dinner. Anyway, so here's the tomato sauce cooking, right? You let it cook until it's dry, and that's going to take a while. So we will pretend that it's that all of this stuff happened. And see, did I forget something? Cup of wine, increase heat, cook until dry, and then you add salt and pepper, which is right here. A little salt and a little pepper, and you go like that at the end. But really, at the end, taste it always first before you add. So there you go. And
A good cook always tastes as they go, right, Mom?
yeah, absolutely. And then here you have the tomato sauce, right? And meanwhile, we have.
And do let us know if you have any questions along the way. If you're wondering about substitutions or any way to adapt this recipe, just add the question in as we go.
Yeah, and now we will add we will make the farcellets. Can you say that? Farcellets. Farcellets. That's so cute. Farcellets. So you take the cabbage, and the cabbage really should be very well cooked, because you don't want cabbage that is kind of hard, right?
And in a sense, even overcooked, according to most.
Yeah. And then also you remove the middle, the part that is hard, and you have something like this, like a
leaf.
Yes, a leaf, a lot of leaves, and then you put about.
So the cabbage serves as the wrap for the stuffing. Kind of like when you have, a lettuce wrap. Yeah. And you make a little bundle just like that.
Absolutely. And then you put them in a
Saute.
In a pan like that, right? And you go 1 and 2, and probably it makes, what did I say? It makes about 18, right? Yes, it makes about 18 dumplings, this recipe. So it's enough for how many people? Well, 9, for about 8 people, 8, 9, right? And or I don't know, depending on how much you eat. And then I'll make another one, and then we will pretend, right?
Okay, and when do we get to try this? I'm getting hungry.
Well, pues, guess what? It's ready.
Oh boy.
Okay, so now we will put this here, and then we will cover them with the sauce, right? Which is here.
Okay.
Cover with the sauce and let it cook a little bit, just to warm it up and make sure that it's good. And right, and you put all the sauce on top.
That tomato sauce looks really good too.
Yes, it really is. Yeah, it really is. Now it will be good if your tomatoes are good and your onions are good, right?
Yeah.
And guess
But
what?
maybe don't use heirloom tomatoes in your tomato sauce. That is a little heartbreaking, just because heirloom tomatoes are so ridiculously expensive.
And
oh boy, the
like,
finished product. There we go.
These are the two that I need.
Beautiful. Okay, I think the sauce is about to fall off the dish, but hopefully you can see a little bit. There we go.
Uh-huh. Oh, and then you sprinkle
Beautiful job, Mom.
You sprinkle some toasted peanuts on top, which I did before, but I shouldn't have. So the peanuts that we put here were not toasted, and these are toasted, and they look really cute.
They do.
You want to taste it?
Presentation is so important. Mom always says we eat with our eyes, and she any tiny little thing that is out of order on the tapas plate. Lily knows that Mom notices. Mom notices. And we do have, I will say, we are very fortunate. We have Lily with us, helping us behind the scenes today. She is our superstar tasting room wine guide who has been killing it, may I say myself. So yeah, it's all about the teamwork.
And I have to say, what was I going to say?
I don't know.
Anyway,
Let's try.
Here we are.
Let's try it. See how it goes with the Pinot.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yum.
Taste.
Yum. This dish.
Yum.
Yum. Yum. I think that the mascabels. Oh, yum. I think that the earthiness, that kind of like forest floor character of the mascabels really goes nicely with that meaty, gamey. Well, maybe not gamey, but the meatiness of the pork, the chorizo, the pancetta, and all that.
The porky.
Porkiness.
Porkiness, exactly.
Yum. And let's see, what else can we say? Oh yeah, you did say that this dish can be served as a tapa, as a first course, and or as a main course. So how would the recipe change at all?
It wouldn't change. The quantity would change. So if you have it as a tapa, you'll have one.
One in a little spoon, maybe. A little dumpling spoon kind of thing.
But
otherwise, it's hard. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
You can have a tapa with fork and knife too.
And then you could have it as an entree. You would have two of them.
Yeah. Well, you probably want 3 or 4 as an entree.
No. Oh, that's right. Entree is not the first course.
As a first course, maybe like 2 of them. Yeah. And as a main course,
you know what? Entree in France is the first course. That's why I was get confused. But and as a main course for free, whatever.
We do have a question from Sam Y before we log off. He says stuffed cabbage is very common in Germany and Eastern European cuisines.
Oh yes, absolutely.
How common is this dish in Spain or Catalonia?
Very, very. Yeah,
very good question.
Yeah, exactly. You're absolutely right. Cabbage, yeah. But in
cabbage
Spain,
is very common in Catalonia, right?
And it's not expensive. So I remember, yeah, but even if it's not expensive, we would have it. It's not that we were, poor, but we were not wealthy either in Spain. So, cabbage and potato with wonderful olive oil.
And one more question. David Clardy asks, what type of onions? Like white onion or what kind of onion?
Yellow onions.
Yellow onions.
The regular kind. Yeah.
The regular kind of like cooking kind. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not the one who knows the answer to this.
That's good. She's asking what, people who are not chefs. That's what I was going to say. So at the winery, I always say that not only that you eat with your eyes first, but also in any high-class restaurant, high-end restaurant, you would be served something that looks so good that you want to eat it. Mm-hmm. You take the same thing and you just put blah, 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 and it's not the same. It will not.
As you say, you eat with your eyes. We eat with our eyes.
Absolutely. First you decide whether the dish is going to be good with your eyes, and then if it is good, then you've won the game, right?
All right. Well, I think that's it from us. Do we have any more questions? Cool. Well, then we'll let you get to your weekend. We hope you enjoy. Honestly, this dish, it is a hit. With our guests in the tasting room, this is often one of the favorites. And, well, we hope you enjoy making it at home.
And And remember the vegetarian version with mushrooms, almonds, and fresh herbs.
I'll change the content of the post. Yeah, so that's in the content. Since we gotta make it good for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we hope you have a nice weekend, and we will see you. Oh boy, we will see you first week of April, which will be here, I'm sure, before we know it. Mm-hmm. And did we pick? Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I picked the recipe, and I'm so excited. This is one of my all-time favorites. All-time favorites. We are doing croquetas de jamón, like ham croquettes. Which, oh man, I mean, granted, I like anything fried. Let's be clear.
Any croquettes.
Any croquetas. Yeah. So get excited. We're gonna do the croquetas de jamón. We've already got the recipe up on the website and with Albarino. So we will see you then.
And if you have a deep fryer, use it. But actually, we're going to make it with the skillet, and it goes just fine. I didn't have any deep fryers in Spain, and we made them all the time.
All right. See you then. Have a good weekend.
So good.